Alright.
Right. Introductions?
Yes, introductions. I am your host, Talkingjello, and this is...
I am Vyse-Elric, who usually does walkthroughs, but right now I'm kind of doing this thing.
Yes, he does walkthroughs of Dragon Quest or something like that.
Yes, Dragon Quest, it's awesome. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this portrait that my friend did.
Yeah. And other things, among other things. I hope you don't mind if we get off topic, which we will.
Nah, don't worry about it. Anyway, now I did a little cheating and looked ahead, and you know, I've looked over her other stuff, and to be quite honest, it didn't look like it was really the standard of what I'd expect from someone like her, but I'm sure it gets better as the video progresses. I mean, you said this was like 50 minutes long or something, right?
It's something like that, yeah, like around 40.
It'll probably
I did this under extreme time crunch.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's only like the first 10 minutes. It'll probably get better as it goes along.
Hopefully. Let's hope, guys.
Yeah. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is that Caitlin, unlike myself, draws without really any structure. Like, for example, some artists who do like manga or anime have like a skeletal structure or a wireframe structure to start out with, and then work around that. But Caitlin just does it. She doesn't need any structure at all.
I wouldn't say I don't need. I would just say I just don't use it.
Now,
there are pros and cons for it.
Yeah, I really cannot understand how this would be possible, because I've tried it before, and I've got to be honest, it is completely failed for me. So, can you explain why you do it this way?
I do it this way mostly because I don't like the limiting factor of the wireframe or drawing construction lines. It just doesn't work for me, I guess. I don't see that you can always stay in between the lines. I mean, you eventually have to rework them, and then you have to rework the whole picture. So I don't understand how Vyse does it. Levi.
Yeah, well, whatever you want to call me. We're breaking the wall and laws of the internet.
You said my name first.
Oh, right.
Exactly.
Divided by 0? I don't know. Anyway, I do it with the construction line, because if I do it the way that Caitlin does it, then the whole thing looks lopsided and, quite frankly, like crap. So I really don't mind redrawing it again, as long as it looks decent. And Caitlin actually helped me out with the recent problem I was having with the line quality, and I've actually gotten a lot better in very little time. I still need a lot of practice, but I've still gotten a lot better at it. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is...
Flattery will get you everywhere, Levi.
Huh?
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah. Anyway, I mostly do construction lines because that's, like I said before, it's the only way I really know how to draw.
But you know, everybody's different. Nobody draws the same exactly.
Some people draw like making a building, and that you need to have structure before the finished project. And some people draw it like, well, I don't know, spontaneously.
Elaborate.
Well, spontaneously, I mean, they just do it and don't really worry about the structure or construction lines of it too much. And like you said before, the real philosophy on that is that it's time-consuming to do the whole wireframe and construction line thing. However, the way you're doing it, it seems like it's taking about just as much time to do a good work, or at least semi-good work, as it does for me to do something that's half decent.
I think I know where you're coming from. It might just be that in my mind that it feels like it's a shorter time. Because when I do construction lines, I know the lines aren't perfect. And when I do that, I don't think I should, form the body of the face or the body or the anatomy onto it. Because I know they're not perfect. I know I'm going to have to rework them. And it just looks, it dirties up the paper and everything. And don't get me wrong, I do construction lines sometimes. and it works out okay for me, but I don't know, I just like doing it spontaneously, as you might say.
Well, I guess in my mind, it's that when I do the construction lines, every proportion that I'm used to drawing is done very close to the way it should be when I do the construction lines. And that just makes things easier for me to fill in the blanks with.
I think I know where you're coming from. Yep.
And just so we're clear, me and Jello have two completely different styles of drawing.
Oh crap! Sorry. I didn't edit all of my me going back and forth from my music out.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Don't worry about it. It's nothing. You can listen to the melodious sounds of our voices.
Oh yes.
Anyway, Jello prefers a style of realism that
you might as well just call me Caitlin, because you're never gonna get used to that. It seems.
Okay, Caitlin uses a style of realism that I never really could get into because I found it just so dull and boring. And the way I draw it, it closely resembles, I guess you could say anime or manga. I just fucking, draw how it comes naturally to me. And aside from that, I think that anime and manga style is a bit more expressive than realism, which is why I draw like that, because you can convey a lot of emotions and a lot of thought with that particular style.
I kind of agree with him, because I really wish see, this is another con of drawing just freehand like this. You get the proportions way out of hand, and watch me, I'm about to delete it all.
Yeah,
there we go.
Delayed fucking everything.
Anyway, what was I talking about? Yes, I like anime and manga too. I love it as a style, but every time I do it, it just sucks. It just turns out completely not how I imagined. I am so unsatisfied with my manga and artwork that and it seems like I'm just naturally better at realism, and I like to draw realism. And so that's why I do it. That's why I draw realistically.
And I actually do understand where you're coming from with realism, because, believe it or not, realism is a much more widely accepted form of sketching and illustration than manga or anime, because
I don't think we have to say believe it or not. I mean, some people still hate anime and manga.
Yeah, it's not just about hating it, but it's just that realism is a form of illustration that is more widely accepted across the world. I mean, even in each culture, realism is still valued above stylistic drawings that convey that are a bit more expressive than...
I wouldn't say in every culture. Apparently not Japan.
Well, even in Japan there are those who prefer the style of realism, and people sometimes forget that Japan isn't just, anime and panty vending machines.
No, I don't think about it. Yeah, you're right. Because, some people say it's still in Japan that anime and manga are for kids.
Yeah, and there are actually some people in Japan, born and raised, who hate anime for many reasons. One of which I've noticed is that the Westerners just think that that's all Japan is about. Big eyes and very pretty boys.
And shiny hair.
Yes, very shiny hair.
Anyway, I'm starting the shade here. But I'm not really feeling satisfied with it a lot.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that it's a bit, I don't want to say sloppy, but it is kind of not thought out very well.
Yeah.
And I don't really mean that as a bad thing. I know there were time constraints, but it does seem a bit rushed. Well, it looks like we're just about out of time.
Yes, we'll be taking a break. Yes, I'm Talkingjello. Wait for the second installment. Peace.
Later.
That was timed perfectly. Awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Alright, I'm gonna stop.